the whole act was intended to disrupt this thought process. Ki how can two communities be at sync with each other?
How could they coexist?
Why will they?
Is Islamophobia real?
You make little more collateral damages also.
Saying that not all Muslims but always Muslims.
You need to punish the local people also. The message is to go loud and clear. This cannot happen again. I'll tell you, it's a terror psyche leading to warmongering now.
Welcome back to yet another episode of Tea with Tanya. And on today's episode, we have none other than Dr. Amrit Pattojoshi, one of the most celebrated neuropsychiatrists from the state of Odisha. Thank you so much, Doc, for making time for us. And welcome back again to another episode of Tea with Tanya.
Thank you.
Welcome back to this episode, Doctor. And the last episode was such a hit, and we had touched down on all the important and so many unspoken, topics. And this episode is going to be so different. And it was sad. It was unfortunate what happened few days back in Pelgam, and it has shaken the country, and people are enraged. And having said that, the point of inviting you today to this episode would be to understand what is terrorism, what mentality is involved, if there is any mentality involved, and what are the repercussions that a society and a community has to face both in real life and real life, and since the social media is so active everywhere. So tell us what terrorism to you as a psychiatrist means.
If you look at the word terrorism again, it is terror. The moment you think of terror in your life, it might be a blast, it might be a shoot, or it might be somewhere a devastation because of something. So that incites the sense of terror in your body. And terrorism is an act where people, a group of people, or maybe a couple of people, or a single man belonging to one set of thought process. I will not talk about religion. I will not talk about caste. I will not talk about the minority. I'll talk about a set of people with third class values and very lopsided thought processes who want to incite terror in a group of innocent people. And that's what Pelgam did to the country. We were back in shape. Kashmir was finally normal. Last 3 months, if you look at Insta posts of most of the people, it was in Kashmir. From Bangkok to Europe to Maldives, we came to Vietnam to Kashmir, our own Kashmir. You know, people are smiling. It's white. It's snowing, and that a great sense ki after maybe 30 years, 35 years, Kashmir is now back to normal. The ordinary people living there are back to earning money out of terrorism, not out of anything else. Indians can had a sense of belongingness to Kashmir now. We don't have to go to Switzerland. We all in all, it was a feel good factor for everybody around. And suddenly, the whole act was intended to disrupt this thought process. Ki how can two communities be at sync with each other?
How could they coexist?
Why will they? If they do so, what our importance is zero now. You get the point?
Hmm.
If there is no death, there is no role of the undertaker.
The life
If there
itself
is
loses
no
meaning. Huh.
if there is no, if there is cohesion between everybody, the role of such, antisocials or whatever you call them is almost defunct. So their importance was being questioned. Their existence was being questioned. So they had to do something. They had to create something which would again bring chaos, unrest, a sense of, what will I tell, intergroup issues. I mean, if you look at India as a country, now we are being challenged by our own people inside the country. That whole sense of uneasiness, that whole sense of not being, safe in your own place, and picking up people based on whom they worship, was actually intended to create this.
Tell me this, Doc. Is perception of reality more powerful than reality itself?
You know, it's always the perception that is more important. It is, what is reality actually? Reality for you is something different. Reality for me is something different. Reality for him is something different. Reality of an event in 1947 was different. In 2018, it was different.
Mm-hmm.
The prime minister in 1950 was, he was looked at in a different angle, and 2020 is being looked at in different angle.
Hmm.
History is changing. History books are changing. Again, history is being written by people who are the winners. So it's the perception actually, which always overshadows the reality in life.
What was real in Pahalgam that day? And what is real after Pahalgam?
Yes, I love this question actually. This is how questions should be asked. The reality was a set of people who wanted to break the united face of India, succeeded in doing that. We, the educated mass, are falling prey to exactly the mechanisms or the machinations they wanted to do. Suppose I'll tell you, my title is Pattojoshi. Suppose there are 1,000 Pattojoshis in Odisha today. Somebody is the chief priest of Puri. Somebody is a great neurosurgeon. Somebody is doing great service somewhere. And my son does a crime. He has taken substance. He goes inside a public place. He has a fight with somebody, takes out a knife and stabs 3 people. How is the entire Pattojoshi 1,000 families responsible for this? You tell me.
Hmm. It's a steep price.
So now that is what is happening. Post 9/11 also this happened. We picked up a particular community and painted every person in the same color.
Hmm. True.
Now what is happening? I have clients coming. Yesterday I had a patient. He's a 13-year-old boy who came to me, depressed, suicidal. Why? Everybody in the school is calling him a terrorist. Now, what was his fault? People are telling, हम जिस घर में रहते हैं, our surroundings, whom we are in peaceful coexistence for so many years now, are looking down on us.
Hmm.
They're shutting the doors when we come. You know, it's so xenophobic now. You think that's what we are? You look at WhatsApp, you just pick up any group in WhatsApp. Just because there is a societal acceptance of the hatred people are doing it more and more. And if somebody is opposing, if somebody is keeping quiet, he's being questioned, he's being pointed out, he's being isolated, he's being called what not. So the whole societal, the whole societal thought process, or what will it, the whole herd mentality is now to speak in a particular manner, to show your patriotism. That man might be mixing, you know, sand in the food he gives you. He might be mixing colors in the tomato sauce he's selling you, killing your children. That mind will be, allowing pollutants to go into the water. He might be mixing things in the medicine he's giving you. He's a patriot just because he tells that this community is this,
Hmm.
and just because somebody's name is similar or somebody's religion is similar to somebody who has done a crime, you're painting somebody as a terrorist. Aren't we hypocrites? We're the worst kind of people.
But isn't fear real? People who were there, who survived Pahalgam, who came back, how would they get over this? And how would they not carry this as a
Now I'll tell you,
generational trauma?
I'll tell you a simple question answer, and I know this is controversial. You tell me how many people have died in accidents by Mo bus, the local bus that runs in Bhubaneswar. You tell me every third day we have a death. Pelgam, there were 26 deaths. That was intended to create terror. That was intended to create chaos. That was intended to question the very ethos of the communal well-being we were in. Now, what happens to the people who are giving license to people who don't know how to drive?
Mm-hmm.
Who are allowing people who are drunk under the influence of cannabis to drive?
Mm-hmm.
Who are giving certificates of these certificates are given to vehicles, no? Are they not responsible? Are they less terrorist than what people have done in Pelgam? Do you think so? Just because they don't create chaos, they don't create mayhem, they're also killing people. Tomorrow it might be your close person who might die. Tomorrow it might be my daughter who might be mowed down by a bus or a auto. Why are we not looking at the bigger picture? We always, people want us to look at only those things, but the bigger things are being neglected. Bigger things are being, just put. I'm not telling that what has happened, but it is very horrible. But they intend to do only these things, and we're playing into the hands of them
Hmm.
by thinking the way we should not be thinking, by talking the way we do not want to talk. Do we want our children to hear all this? Now, suppose we are targeting a particular community in our country. Don't you think we will be targeted at other countries where our brothers are there, where our sisters are there? And then why do we cry foul? Why do we cry foul when somebody attacks us in a place like US, or we are attacked in a place like Canada, or maybe walking on the streets of UK? Why do we cry foul then? If we are justifying everything we're doing here, be it retaliatory, be it reactionary, be it whatever we tell you, so we are also subjected to a lot of things where we are crying. Then it's all is fair then.
Pahalgam attack has brought forth one of the most ordinary but crucial debate. Is Islamophobia real? Or should it be real? Can we just flush it down the toilet, saying that not all Muslims but always Muslims?
No, no. I am somebody will never talk like that. I have been with a lot of people who are much better than my own religion friends who have stood by me like brothers. I've had very good experiences with people, and I've also had bad experiences with people. So I'm not the person who will generalize, and that's what we should not be doing. Based on our experiences, based on our education, based on knowledge systems, we should not be generalizing any particular caste, community, religion, sex on a prejudiced, stereotype thought processes. The current, whatever is happening is we have more people of a particular minority who are doing certain acts. I think, but I think the more hatred we spew, the more such people we are giving bond. Now a 13-year-old, if you're subjecting to words of terrorist, you are isolating. Naturally, there will be a sense of hatred. There will be sense of anger inside him. What was his fault? So he will tell it is better. Like somebody who is not drinking alcohol, and you're always calling me a drunkard. But somebody who's not doing something, you're always labeling. One day he'll tell, मैं करता हूँ ऐसे काम.
Mm-hmm.
So what is our, we know that yes, a set of issues are there, a set of people are there who are doing all these things. Do we work on them and reduce the intensity and the number of people who are doing this, or do we increase their population?
Mm-hmm.
By spreading hatred, we are making more people like this active. So let us hate the people who have done. Let us hate the people. The Let us hate the acts. Let us not hate the community.
When an act is committed on the prejudiced grounds of, identifying people on the basis of their religion, targeting them on the basis of their religion, and then killing them on the basis of the religion, don't you think it is tad bit difficult for the general mass to not be able to segregate everything? You
you
know.
know you know yes, let us accept that the initial fury, the initial hatred is a normal thing, but now carrying it forward, accelerating it, is going too far ahead, because somewhere the sensibilities have to come in, the sensible minds have to come in, because is it a fact that every person of the particular community is like that? Yes or no? No. Out of 100 people, do you think even 5% are like that? No. Everybody has a way they worship, everybody has a way they do things. That gives us no right to call them the way we are calling them. So how do we, what has happened now. How do we prevent further such attacks? How do we strengthen things? the place, the people where it was a vulnerable place. Somewhere we all, our security, there was an intelligence failure and there was also a security failure. By putting it everything on a particular community, are we not brushing off our responsibilities? Are we not brushing off our inadequacies? When we are, when it is so visible that people are there, going there, a lot of people are going there, a lot of people are enjoying there, wasn't not right to have better security there so that it would have turned off a lot of people? And putting everything to one set and not taking any responsibility is too naive, I think, on our part. And what social media is telling us is it is making us believe all the stories that are being spun.
Help me understand this, doc. Whenever a crime is committed, be it on an individual level or on a very large scale, why is it that people usually tend to forget the victim but not forget the perpetrator?
Why people will not forget the perpetrator? A very simple question with a complicated answer. And I'll tell you. Suppose I have a gun in my hand and I point it towards you. Whom the camera will look at me more or look at you more? Tell me.
You more.
Why?
You become the focus, the point of focus in that
So
moment.
the negative emotions are brought in by this person. You're just the victim. And what happens is you are the victim. The person who has the terror in the mind might also become the victim. So they will remember this man who is bringing terror in the minds and the eyes of people. So the whole negative emotions, the heightened negative emotions are being brought on by me, the perpetrator of the crime or the not the victim. So somewhere the victim gets the sympathy card, but the whole whole the focus, the whole the limbic system is activated by the terror and the terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Limbic system is responsible for all the the amygdala and the limbic system is responsible for all the emotional memories, and it's more
Rage.
of negative. So that is activated actually.
Right. So, post Pahalgam, India and the social media in India has gone through a surge. I mean, the country is divided on so many fronts now. Everybody has, an opinion, and rightly so. Everybody is enraged in their own capacity. I'm sure while you're saying that, we cannot just put everything on one community, we cannot blame one section of people from our country or from our population for whatever happened in Pahalgam, but we do deeply, at the end of the day, we all do deeply feel sorry for what happened in Pahalgam at that day. It was very unfortunate. But having said that, the kind of shift that we are seeing right now on social media in our country and across the country, what would you actually categorize it as? Would you categorize it as a terror psyche, a post terror psyche? Or is it a war psyche that India is somehow,
No, I'll tell you, it's a terror psyche leading to warmongering now. You
mm-hmm,
know, the there's a sense of fear, initial sense of fear. Ki it could have been me. I had gone 10 days back. I was going about to go 5 days later. A lot of people were deeply involved in it. Many of them had friends who had gone. Many of them were about to go. So a huge mass of a population was directly or indirectly involved in the whole episode of whatever has happened. And seeing your own community people being targeted is something, and in your own country, the worst part is it is in your own country. It's like somebody comes inside your house, inside your fortified house, and hits the head of the family. It was a blow on the face of everything we existed for. So it was a hard blow again to the whole country. These were tough times because everybody was, and after that sense of hopelessness, that sense of fear, that sense of outrage, then came the next stage. Now people, there was one attack and there was no subsequent attack. People could recoup, and next they wanted action against the perpetrators of the crime. And because it was cross border, and anything that occurs cross border, people think, and there are evidences that points to the government machinery helping them. So a country against a country, you have to go to war. And the war might be of different aspects. It's not, war doesn't mean just, bombing each other. So what started as a financial war, now there's no exchange of, nobody can use anybody's water, airway. We are cutting down the water supply. And somewhere we understand that the country is financially not in a good shape. So let us,
Cut where it really hurts.
yes, we start cutting where it hurts, because you bomb two places, five places, they will bomb two places.
Hmm.
It's not that India is a huge country and it's a rogue nation, and a rogue nation can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere we need to safeguard our own people also. We cannot sacrifice our people for killing 10 people there, because it might lead to we also having loss of lives, loss of people. So somewhere the whole government machinery has taken a very wise decision. They're gradually escalating things, and because the message is to go loud and clear that this cannot happen.
Again.
This cannot happen again. So the warmongering has started, but somewhere I find that people have become much more sensible this time. I don't know. Before I used to see a lot of things about war and all, but people know that yes, we have a very strong government in place now. Some a government who is not just going for blood. They are going for the food pipe. They are going for the oxygen pipe, and I think that is the best way to choke people.
Mm-hmm.
If you kill people, they don't feel the pain. I think the pain we felt, the pain should be given. So that what happens is, what I mean to tell is that until you don't create collateral damages, the collaterals will always be supporting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, suppose my son is a criminal and I'm supporting him, I need to be punished also. It's not my son who is going to be punished also. So if in a place something like this has happened and there is local involvement, I think the you need to punish the local people also.
Hmm.
Pinpoint people like what they are doing. I think that's the best job. You make little more collateral damages also. So that somewhere somebody knows something is wrong, they will come and tell them no, something like this should not be happen. So the approach is good. The approach is calculated.
So, a group of people who are crying for retaliation against Pakistan at this point of time, are they doing okay by, I mean,
I think we need every group of people. We need a group of people who will be shouting to kill. We need a group of people who will be telling that we need peace. And then there is a bunch of people who tell that kill the people who have done it, hit their relatives, but spare the innocent. I think we cannot go, a lot of people in Pakistan are also good people. They also want peace. They also want to have a good life like we have. They look upon us that, they're also, you know, impressing upon the government to normalize things. And even in Pakistan, the terrorists are playing havoc. You see what happened. They hijacked a train. And it's not that they are devoid of terrorism or terrorist acts themselves. So they are also, anybody, if you make bombs in your house, the bombs will also go off in your own house. You might lose a hand, you might lose your parents, something will happen. It will
so
happen.
what is the mentality behind being such a rogue nation for them? I
No,
mean, I'm
I'll tell
sure
you,
they
I'll
do
tell you, they have been
understand.
used. They're a country who doesn't have a lot of resources. So they started the proxy war. A lot of things that are happening, and I think the Western governments have used Pakistan to get hold of Afghanistan, to get hold of, get into India, make India, make some of the areas of India, trouble them so that they are engaged there. So,
But I'm sure the ultimate jurisdiction lies with them.
you know,
I mean, irrespective of how US and Europe has used
I
them in the
understand,
past
but
three
but I
decades.
tell you, once hate, negative things are are put into somebody's mind. Ki X has done this to you, X has done this to you. That's what I'm afraid of. Now, let
The
us not put
brainwashing.
these things into our children's mind. That Y is like this, so X is like this, so you have to do this to X. You have to do this. And I think the leaders in Kashmir failed us. We had a bunch of corrupt people who were ruling us for 40, 50 years. They never allowed whatever the government was doing to go to the people. Whatever, you know, good things were happening, whatever development schemes, they just stayed in good places, earned a lot of money, and they allowed this discontent to simmer. They never
Mm-hmm.
allowed it to die down.
Mm-hmm.
So There's a lot of discontent, and it was based on, once it was based on religious feelings or community feelings or whatever you tell you. And because the terms of the partition was like that, that was the moment when we needed to do those things. I think they had more independence, and they wanted to take advantage of both sides, and ended up losing both sides actually. Now you see what is happening to Kashmir. If you are somewhere, I always tell, be there. Don't try to be both at both places at the same time. You end up being nowhere, and that's what is happening to Kashmir.
Just for a context for our followers and viewers who are watching us right now, what is the difference between a terror psyche and a war psyche?
A terror psyche is different. A terror psyche is you're always looking beyond eyes. Somebody will come and shoot you. Somebody will cripple. War psyche is something different. War is more of a collectiveness. It is, you would always want to go to war and die for your country, but you will never want to die in a terrorist attack.
Hmm.
Somebody who dies in a terrorist attack and somebody who goes out fighting and dying in a war. You look at the way you look at both the things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody feels good to go and be in the border. Somebody does not feel good to be in the line of fire of a terrorist attack. The psyche of a terrorist is more about self, more about my family. The psyche of a war is more about my country, my community, my people. It is me. It is us. Here I need to fight. Here I need to run.
Have you seen any difference between this psyche post Pahalgam?
Yeah, what I'm seeing now is the advantage we now have today is we are a financial, big force financially, politically. India is now doing very great. So somewhere the sense of supremacy has come. Before used to be afraid कि if there is a war, something will happen. Now we everybody thinks that we can attack and we can just demolish
Well, I think it all
Pakistan.
happened from since Uri attack,
Yeah,
that
post
surgical
no,
attack
not
kind
just
of.
Yuri, it's even the Chinese, we had this fight. So somewhere we feel very safe now in terms of a war. We know that
But are
yes,
we? If India goes to a war, are we?
I'll
Are
tell you
we?
again, when you are fighting a war against a rogue nation, no,
Hmm,
you never know what will happen
they are
because the laws
unpredictable.
of the game will not be adhered to, and you never know who is supporting them by proxy. Because Pakistan by itself cannot fight a war against India. It's a known thing. But again, who is supporting? Who will be standing with them? Who will be secretly sending them things? You never know. And tomorrow, if they just throw a nuclear bomb, you look at if they throw it at Delhi, what will happen? Are we ready to face that? They are already a dying nation, but we are a nation which is now just
Thriving.
about to, raise our own potential, full potential. Are we ready for that? What do we get out of it? Just because 100 million people are telling that demolished, they can also demolish us. Why is a country like US afraid of a country like North Korea? Just tell me.
Right.
Why is China afraid of Taiwan? It's not so easy.
So, what's the curve here? How do we get over this?
I think the curve number one is hit them hard, and I think the Indian government is hitting them hard. You have a lot of people being wiped out, demolished. I think they're doing a good job. This is a one-off failure, and we need to learn our lessons from here. Number two is the more hatred we spread, the more you know will be in the terror psyche. Something might happen to us. So fear mongering should be reduced. I think we should make our people more safe and secure so that they can protect somebody of the other community who is with them. Not to bully them, not to humiliate them, not to name them, not to shame them. That sense of character should come to us. That strength should be there in us. Okay, we are so secure that we can make the people against whom we are insecure also secure. So
Hmm.
that we get more allies, we get more friends, we don't get
But
more
why is it
enemies.
that when people talk in terms like you are, they are either branded as liberals or, extreme leftists, and people who have a more,
I
you
think I
know,
think that is the majority sentiment where actually the social, that is how the, I tell you again, there are few people who set the tone and the tenor. And now if you are not, if you look at a WhatsApp group now, you might be in 20 groups, I might be in 200 groups. So the moment somebody tells that this has happened and something like this has to be done to them, you immediately have to fall in line. If you are not falling in line, people will immediately point out, look, Tanya is doing like this. She is like this. She is minority one. She is a terrorist. Now, and then in 2 minutes, you have been branded a traitor. You have been branded a terrorist. You have been branded a lot of things. That. So, do you follow that appeasement policy, or you want to, be the, be in the herd mentality, or you want to be different?
Is it easy to break out of the herd mentality?
It's not difficult. The only thing is, if you're sure about yourself, if you are ready to not go beyond the point about what people are talking about you, because it's a herd mentality, they will speak. Have you ever seen somebody stealing something and being caught on the streets?
Rarely.
A poor person who has stolen something, 100 people will be hitting that. Many times I have gone and stopped and I have been hit.
Mm-hmm.
So be ready to be the person who will stop those things happening.
And be hit.
You will not be hit, nobody will hit you. No will dare to hit you. But yes, hit means a push
Push.
or a threat or a gully. But be ready for that.
But don't you think the world is shifting in those perspectives? Nobody wants to be branded by anything.
You know, you want to be the world or you want to change the world?
And that's a fair question, but you also have to ask which is easier.
If the easier things were the best things, then it wouldn't have always been easy. So it's the tough things which are the best things. So let's make the tougher choices and come off better. Because tomorrow we are answerable to our kids. Tomorrow the next generation will ask you, Mom, what were you telling when these things were happening? What were you talking about when all these things are happening?
So if you had to sum all of this in like one sentence and address this to everybody who's watching us right now, hearing us right now, what would you say to them?
Strict action should be taken against whoever is doing all these things, their supporters and their perpetrators. I think the way they have done, the same way they should be dealt with. But people who are not part of this whole thing, I think we should not be doing this to them.
I think it really makes a lot of sense, Doc, especially coming from you because you kind of deal with all of this on a daily basis. And we might be talking about a bigger picture here, but every Indian, irrespective of their caste, religion, creed, or sex, we all make India together. And let's not shake our faith in our constitution, in our beliefs. And thank you so much for you actually sparing your time for this. And I'm sure people who are watching us right now have actually got some idea about what a terror psyche is, what a war psyche is, and what's the difference between war psyche and warmongering. So let's not get into warmongering or fear mongering. Have faith in our constitution and keep moving forward. And thank you so much for today's episode,
Pleasure.
Doc. I'll see you again on some other episode. Do give us a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.